All right. Good morning, folks. Or I suppose just hello to those of you in Europe who are on a very different time zone. My name's Phil Gallagher. I run Thraben University, and we're gonna have some fun this morning. This is something that I've been threatening to do for a long time, and it's finally happening. We're gonna play Tinfins this morning. To those of you at GP Seattle, good luck. Obviously I am not attending myself, but I would really love to see D&T at the top tables, and especially in the top 8 once again. D&T has a great track record at GPs, and usually going into the GP, everyone's like, "Oh, Death and Taxes is a terrible deck," and then D&T goes and takes down the whole event. That's been the general trend, and I would really love to see a D&T finish here after just hearing so many people rag on the deck, especially with the what was it, the Everyday Eternal, I think it was called, Julian's podcast this week, where everyone just dumped on D&T. and they even said in before D&T just top 8's the event. So we'll see how that actually goes. So as far as legacy decks go, unless you have a local player on this deck, this is one you might not have seen before. So I'm actually going to do a proper deck tech here and show you how this deck works. So essentially this is an instant speed Reanimator deck. So you want to use Entomb, Cabal Therapy, or Thoughtseize to get one of Grizzlebrand or Emrakul in the graveyard. Once you do that, you use Goryo's Vengeance or Shallowgrave to put them into play. Oh, Moxall, thank you very much for resubscribing. I appreciate your support once again. I hope this content is going to be amusing and worth your time. So the idea is that given the choice, you put Grizzlebrand into the graveyard first. You then draw 14 cards. Your next step is to go... Oh, Bill, I'm so sorry. Waking up and just not getting sleep before a GP is miserable. Hopefully I can keep you entertained for a couple hours. What, it's 6 o'clock there, so you still have a few hours before the GP? Ugh, miserable. Alright, so the idea is once you've drawn your 14 cards, you have sort of a fork in the road. If you have the Emrakul or access to Entomb, you just go Entomb, Shallowgrave, or Cabal Therapy myself for Emrakul, Shallowgrave, or Goryo's Vengeance, and then you attack for 22, and the game is over. But if that doesn't happen, your backup plan is Children of Corliss. So you cast Children of Corliss, or reanimate it, whatever, and then you gain life equal to the life that you've lost this turn. Sacrifice Children of Corliss, you gain life equal to the life you've lost this turn. That puts you back up to 20 life. You can then draw 14 more cards. Hey, you know what else you can do? You can then reanimate Children of Corliss again. And then you've lost approximately 28 life. So the next time you sack it, you can draw 28 cards. And doing this, you can usually put your entire deck in your hand, and then it should be very easy to win the game. But sometimes things happen, and stuff doesn't go right. When that occurs, you have to get a little bit creative. So, here are the things you can do when things go wrong. Plan A. Well, it's more like Plan B at this point. Plan B. Cast 4 Dark Rituals, so that gets you 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana. With Lotus Petals, you can get up to 12 mana. Cast all your mana stuff. Cast Cabal Therapy, targeting yourself to name Emrakul, and shuffle all of your rituals and petals back in. Use Grizzlebrand to draw 7 cards again, until you have some cards left in library and 15 mana, so you can hard cast Emrakul to take an extra turn. If for some reason you need more than 1 extra turn, you can then sack an Emrakul to Cabal Therapy to put it back in your deck to queue up more extra turns. That usually works. If for some reason the Emrakul doesn't work, then you get to the cutest portion of the deck, which is the Collective Brutality loop. So, Collective Brutality notably has one mode that we care about. Target opponent loses 2 life, and you gain 2 life. So what you do is you get your library down to 0 cards left, and then you cast 7 cards. Usually you do Dark Grit, Collected Brutality, Lotus Petal, and Children. So that gives you a couple more mana, enough to cast the Collected Brutality and Netsum, and a Petal. So you Petal, you sack the Children, you gain a whole bunch of life at that stage, and then for the last 2 cards, you Cabal Therapy yourself for Emrakul to go and shuffle all of your stuff back in, and then you draw 7 with Grizzlebrand again, drain them 2, do that loop, repeat, and you can do that 10 times and they just die. That's a slow kill. You usually don't need to go to that stage, but sometimes your opponent has like an ensnaring bridge or something stupid, and that's the route that we need to go. So that's something that's available to us. Looking at the sideboard, you're probably really confused. Essentially, there are 2 plans in the sideboard. Plan number 1 is the man plan. In the matchups where like the reanimation process is difficult because your opponent has like Thoughtseize, Deathrite Shaman, and Force of Will, a lot of times you just board into Mentor, like play a turn 1 or 2 Mentor, and then just like cantrip a bunch and hope that that's enough. You usually leave in like a Grizzlebrand, the Entombs, and a couple of the reanimation spells when you do that, but you generally become a non-reanimator deck. Plan number 2 is to just answer whatever your opponents have. So there's 1 Badlands in the sideboard, which probably looks pretty weird. That's for Crash. Instead of paying its cost, you can sack a mountain to destroy target artifact. That's mostly for Chalice of the Void. Although, like, it has other applications as well. So you have Crash and Serenity for artifacts, you have Massacre for the D&T matchup, and you have Chain of Vapor for when your opponent is just, like, kind of playing something annoying. Yeah, the Monastery Mentor sideboard plan is sweet. So this is a deck list I got from my roommate, Sean French, and he loaned me all of the cards for this, which I really do appreciate. Thanks, Sean. You're bros. This is a deck that I own on paper as well, so I have some degree of experience playing it, but I'm not a Tinfins master. I goldfished a few games last night just to make sure that like I remembered how to play the deck and remembered how all the math worked. And I had to remember how the Collected Brutality loop works, because it's a little bit tricky. But this should be fun. We'll see whether or not I can cash with this in the school of Deathrite Shamans that's floating around right now. Hey, there are Tinfins masters. I'll like 2 of them. My roommate, Sean, goes back and forth between playing Miracles and Tinfins. And, like, he has finishes at opens with Tinfins, if that tells you anything about how dedicated to the deck he is. So, like, it's out there. So I think there's Sean, I think there's 1 other person in Atlanta, and that's probably about it. Like, there are a handful of people who play it at the local level, but Tinfins is a deck that is much better than people give it credit for, but it's also a deck that just, like, loses to itself a decent portion of the time. Won the die roll, so we're already very favored. Alright. So, this hand is missing both a reanimation spell and a way to get something in the graveyard. No, I guess I have a way to get something in the graveyard, so I just need a reanimate. I would need a fatty too, though. Brainstorm's real good, though. And I have one redraw in Probe, and I can brainstorm for the missing piece. It's possible I should just mulligan this one and try to find a hand that's faster. I can also just Thoughtseize my opponent here. I have so much mana that if I get the right pieces, I just win. But the Brainstorm is unlikely to find me both pieces, even with the Get Probe as well. Brainstorm fixes a lot of bad hands. Alright. So we got Island, Plains, Ponder, Snare, Verdict, Swords, click. Alright, since we have two Brainstorms, I'm going to go ahead and use the first now. And then if we need to, we'll use the second next turn. Ooh, alright. So, what one of these cards don't I want? So next turn I want to Brainstorm, fetch, ideally like Dark Writ, Entomb, Shallow Grave. If I keep the second Dark Writ, I can also Thoughtseize as well. I already have a Petal, though. I guess the Petal is not worth as much mana as Dark Writ is. And I'll need a Thoughtseize in order to get the Snare out of their hand if they hold that up. So I think this is probably ditch, Petal, hide Shallow Grave on top. Alright, this isn't great. So Petal goes back. Brutality is the slowest interaction I have. That goes back. Alright, so they drew Marsh Flats. I thought about that. I don't know that seeing the one more card is any better than shuffling away the 2 cards in case I get locked. Alright, so they drew another Plains. Just gonna take their click so they don't get to interact with me at all. And then I don't care about the rest. I'll hold the second Thoughtseize so that I can Thoughtseize myself for an idiot if I need to. I think I'll actually just pay mana for this probe. Oh man. They have triple Swords to Plowshares, Verdict, Plains. Cabal Therapy would be spicy. Nope. We shall continue the game of both my opponent and I doing absolutely nothing. Ha! Please don't have drawn Brainstorm. Got him. They drew Brainstorm and did not cast it? Okay. Whatever you say. Goryo's Vengeance says your graveyard, so I can't actually do that. Alright, opponent got to Brainstorm twice. Presumably they have something now. A Jace. So at this point my plan is largely Emrakul based, where I just Emrakul all their permanents away. But that's not happening right now. I am of the opinion that my opponent has no idea what deck I'm playing. That is usually the case when you are playing Tinfins. Like, my opponent has no 5-0s to their name. They might not be, like, a super experienced Legacy player. So I'll assume that they don't know what's going on. Alright, we're gonna do something a little spicy here. With that on the stack, we entomb, so that they can't snapcast or counterspell once that hits the graveyard. Alright, Snapcaster Mage. Alright, yeah, opponent does not know what I'm doing. Otherwise, they would not brainstorm here. They would just wait and Snapcaster spell snare the Shallow Grave. Unless they know that they have another counter spell on top because of their Jace. So if I Emrakul them, attack Jace, they sacrifice Jace, Snapcaster Mage, and 4 lands, that's probably enough to buy time. I could also just get Grizzlebrand, draw 7. If that doesn't work, attack Jace, refuel, go off again next turn. Only, like, I'll still get to draw 14 cards, which is still pretty good. But now that my opponent put one more permanent in play, it's less good to just go after the Jace directly. They have 3 Swords of Plowshares in the graveyard, so they're not likely to get rid of Grizzlebrand. My opponent could also just keep Snapcaster Mage and try to aggro me out. Like, both lines are very good. I think I'm going to risk it and go for the Grizzlebrand. Like, I have a lot of mana going into this. Ooh, yeah. Let the record show that I am doing all of this in response to a counterspell. Game. Easy. Woo! This is why Tinfins is tier 1. Alright, so very important strategy when playing Tinfins. 100% of the time, you board in all 15 of your cards. And you go and you shuffle them around, so your opponent doesn't know what you're doing, and then you decide how you want to sideboard for the matchup. So the reason you do that is because you don't want your opponent to know whether or not you're bringing in all of the creatures. So my opponent is probably going to have about 2 surgical extractions, and those are kind of annoying. But they're not going to have permanent-based hate, like, say, Rest in Peace, because they're a Snapcaster Mage deck. Plan A is pretty good against them. Plan A of just, like, managing to somehow resolve a Grizzlebrand and drawing a bunch of cards works pretty well. Mentor is annoying. I should probably hedge a little bit and board in a Mentor or 2, but I probably won't board in all 4 here. Yeah, so, like, everyone has no respect for Tinfins, because they always say things like, yeah, if like, your opponent gets past turn 3, you're never winning. But, like, that game, I had a weak opener that had a lot of potential, but didn't get there in the initial turns, so I just disrupted my opponent, got a 3-for-1 with a Cabal Therapy, because my opponent was bad, and then just destroyed them. So the Collective Brutality loop is a little bit unlikely to happen, but it's still a disruptive card. I think I'll probably cut 1 Brutality just to leave 1 in the deck for a Mentor. And probably call that good enough. No, I'll board out the Chrome Mox too. Morning, Bitter Tongue Click. We are up a game against Miracles with Tinfins. Ooh, man. My opponent mulliganed, I'm on the draw. I can just discard Grizzlebrand and then reanimate it. Deal. I also have the backup plan of just, like, play Mentor on turn 2. You think that's enough, opponent. I'm still just going to put a 7/7 lifelinker in play and make you deal with it. Also, if they ever print another cheap, efficient Mom-like card or another tutor that works in the deck, it will be absolutely broken. Yeah, so, like, the best card in this deck, not close, is just Entomb. Alright, so we're gonna go... I don't even think I probe. I think I just, like, no fear, reanimate Grizzlebrand. And then next turn, go Dark Writ, land, mentor, probe, if that doesn't work. Not even gonna, like, bother to check and see if it's safe, because I don't actually care about losing this Grizzlebrand. Like, the Grizzlebrand is not the primary plan right now, the mentor is. This is just the maybe it will work plan. So this Grizzlebrand might just get Terminused away. We'll find out. It can also just get Swords to Plowshared. Yeah, so, like, Entomb is your tutor that automatically puts the card into the zone you want it to go into, which is insane. Oh, man. Now I can just try to kill them this turn. Let's do that instead. Entomb is stupid. Actually, I will use one probe now. I do want to see if they have force. Oh, they have nothing. They're dead. Shit. That is unfortunate. Huh. I can probe again. Or I can just, like, Dark Writ Mentor attack for 7. Get probe. Entomb Therapy, sack Grizzlebrand. Okay, that's a line, so I can go Dark Writ. Alright, so I go up to 3 mana if I Dark Writ. Go down to 2 mana if I Entomb. Grizzlebrand gets sacked. Target myself with Therapy. Name Emrakul. Use my remaining 2 mana to Emrakul, wipe all their permanents. That's actually not crazy. I'm left with a lot of resources. And that gets rid of the Needle. It leaves the Grizzlebrand in yard and leaves me with Mentor as a follow-up play the next turn in all likelihood. I would need to hit a land, but that's probably fine. I can also just, like, if they have nothing, I can just, like, hit them with Grizzlebrand this turn, do all of that stuff next turn. I think I'm still, like, a huge favorite to win the game if I don't get risky here. So I think I'm just going to Dark Writ, play Mentor, get Probe. Call that good enough. Because then later I can entomb a therapy, and if I need to, like, sack a mentor token to, like, actually do something. Terminus on top doesn't make sense if they play out Mentor for their turn. Ooh, alright. So we put back Emrakul and Lotus Petal. I play a land. And I fetch. Get another C. Man, Mentor is really annoying to play with. Spell Snare. Okay. That's fine. I guess I could have therapied once somewhere in here. Jace is not good enough. So I think on my previous turn, I was supposed to go Dark Writ, Cabal Therapy, name them, sacking one of the Summoning Sick Mentor tokens in order to name Spell Snare or Force of Will so that I didn't get blown out by the exact situation I was in. It doesn't matter, but, you know, technically correct play is always better. What could you possibly have to stay alive at this point? Yeah, that's right. That's right. Alright. 1-0, 2-0 with Tinfins. Top tier deck for sure. Just that easy. I made lots of mistakes and still won on the power of the deck. Opponent thought their pithing needle was enough to keep that hand. Wrong. Alright. So we have all the best cards in our deck in our hand, and I just need mana. Keep. That jerk. That's fine. We have a turn 1 kill. Yeah, we'll just go faster than Deathrite Shaman and hope they don't have Force of Will. This deck is insane. Don't have Force. Don't have Force. Oh, yeah! And we're going. Alright, so we're playing against Delver. So they've got Delver, Ponder, True Name Nemesis, Double Waste. That's okay, that doesn't matter. They're gonna die this turn. They just don't know it yet. So I need to keep going. So now chat, you get to watch the fun happen. So now we cast Children. We use the Children to go back up to 20 life. We then draw more cards. That was bad. Oh wait, no, it doesn't. We have to win at this point. But I like drawing cards, so let's draw some more cards. So now I can just Entomb, Emrakul, and Goryo's Vengeance it, and we can be done here. No need to torture our opponent. Stoneforge. Yes! My list does run Emrakul. Alright. So we're playing against Delver. Again, you know, for the sideboard plan, we board in all 15. We shuffle them around real good, and then decide what we want to do. Since my opponent's a Deathrite Shaman deck, I probably need to board in some number of the Mentors. Since they're a Delver deck, I probably don't want to board in Bob. So I'll probably go Chrome Mox out. So difference between Goryo's Vengeance and Shallow Grave. Goryo's Vengeance only gets a legendary creature, so it doesn't get Mentor if we need to entomb a Mentor. So I don't troll people on Magic online that much. So I'll probably like cut a Goryo's. Cut a Grizzlebrand. And maybe a second Goryo's. That leaves me with 7 reanimation spells. Yeah, that's probably fine. So, of note here, I can just, like, hard cast a Mentor. If they answer it, I can reanimate it. And that is a very real plan still. Well, so this hand produces a turn 2 Grizzlebrand if my opponent just kind of has Stone Cold nothing. So we keep. You don't play this deck expecting to always have good hands. Alright. Let's probe you. Let's see how bad this is. Oh, it's bad. Okay. So they've got Brainstorm, Angler, Misty, Surgical Volk, and they have a Deathrite Shaman. Alright. That is bad. Or we win. So I just go... Lotus Petal, Dark Grit, Lotus Petal. That's 4 mana total. I cast Collective Brutality with Escalate. They try to Surgical Extraction the Grizzlebrand that I discard, and then I Shallow Grave it. Get wrecked, opponent. Holy shit. My deck is so good. So we'll Escalate, shrink target creature, do that. Choose target opponent. That's you. Choose target creature. That's you. Pay 1 mana. That's that. Discard Grizzlebrand. Got him! Got him! So my opponent is surgicaling and their thing does nothing now. Yeah, that's fine. That resolves. Alright, so we get their brainstorm, and we got their surgical. So they're left with Angler Misty Valk. We take that. Their Deathrite Shaman is dead. I haven't even played a land yet, and I get to draw 14. Alright, so we've just got it now. Cast. Play. Black. Dark Grit. Entomb. Emrakul. Shallow Grave. So, let the record show that we got a turn 1 beating Deathrite Shaman and Surgical Extraction, 2 of the best cards against our deck. Alright, we're 2-0-4-0. Oh, geez, this deck is awesome. I enjoy this so much. Alright, folks, give me 2 seconds before I start the next round here. Alright. Here we go. So for anyone watching, hello, my name's Phil Gallagher. Today we are streaming some Tinfins instead of the usual Death and Taxes. We're currently 2-0 and 4-0 in games. We're crushing it, and we just beat both a Deathrite Shaman and a Surgical Extraction by being amazing and top decking like a god. So we'll see if we can continue this trend. Question for people, what kind of features or data would you want when looking at a record of your past matches? I keep records of play, draw, game, and match results, and then I write like a very, very brief, like 1 sentence or a quick blurb description of each game. And like what were the critical cards, or like what happened on the critical turn where I won or lost. I need to mulligan this one. I think my opponent usually plays Chalice decks of some nature, like Eldrazi and Red Prison. I just have like neither piece of the combo here. This is not good either. Ugh. This is rough. Like, this one still does nothing. This one's real close. This one needs an Entomb, and I have a turn 1. I almost don't want to keep the land, and I kind of want to just bottom the land and just try to spike Entomb to win this match. But I don't think I can do that. I think I have to keep the land. Ooh. Good thing I kept the land. I'm such a dog to win this matchup that I almost don't want to play the Lotus Petal. I think I just want to, like, play Flooded Strand, pass, make it look like I'm on Miracles, and then concede once they do a discard spell that targets me. Because I don't think I beat them once they put the Grizzlebrand into play. Like, when they draw 14 cards, they're going to be able to do something that interacts with me. Oh, come on, you've just, like, gotta draw, right? You don't not draw, yeah. Alright, so they have a few fatties to choose from. Alright, so I guess if I get Taxian Probe and hit Entomb, I'm not actually dead. Gonna try to confuse my opponent. I'm gonna make it look like I'm, like, a Miracles deck by fetching Tundra. And then Gataxian Probing. Like, a weird Miracles deck that, like, for some reason runs Gataxian Probe for, Mentor or something. Alright, so they've got double CB, double Exhume, or no, 1 CB, double Exhume, double Looting, Swamp, Verdant. Alright, come on, Entomb. That is not Entomb. I think I just concede here, because my opponent was going to get either an Iona or a Chancellor, and I don't think I can beat that. I can't beat the Chancellor, I can't... Maybe I could beat the Iona, but in order for me to beat a Chancellor, I'd have to play the Lotus Petal out now, and I don't want to give away that information. I'm gonna concede. Yeah, alright. So we're playing against Reanimator. I think my plan is just the game 1 plan again. I could board in Chain of Vapor to bounce their idiots. That's not the worst. The Mentor plan just gets outclassed by a Grizzlebrand, so I probably don't want to do that. It also exposes me to something random like a Massacre Worm that they might bring in. So I think I just, like... I don't even know if I Chain of Vapor. I guess it's an answer to Iona. Alright, maybe I have to. It's not the best Collected Brutality matchup, so I'll get rid of those. No, I don't want to cut discard for chain because like it's an opposing combo matchup, right? Like of my discard spells, this is the weakest discard spell because it's the slowest. And this one also doesn't target me, so I can't use this one to put my own fatties into the graveyard. Yes, I would like to play first. So my best line with this hand is Thoughtseize them, take one of their fatties, hope they don't have anything, and reanimate their fatty. I'd rather just try to kill them on the play. Mulligan. This hand doesn't really do anything. It's got Brainstorm to try to fix it, but this is a speed matchup. Don't have a way to get anything into the graveyard. I don't have any discard spells to interact. Mulligan. Punished. We'll just concede this match and move on. Alright, so they kept a hand that does nothing. So we're not dead. I mean, we are dead, but... So Badlands, 2x Therapy, Chancellor, double G Brand, Delta. Amusingly, the first hand where I would have had to pray that they didn't have a reanimation spell would have been good enough. I really hope they drew like a Thoughtseize and they have to like Thoughtseize us, take our Grizzlebrand. Now the jig is up. Opponent correctly names the best card in my deck. Good job, opponent. So this is probably a Cabal Therapy targeting them. Nope. Do they draw Brutality? They did. Drawing Brutality into Animate Dead is rough, because my opponent's hand went from doing nothing to doing everything. So this turn I need to draw a discard spell or an Entomb in order to go off. Of note, opponent is currently dead to an Emrakul attack. They don't have enough permanents to block with Grizzlebrand, because they would have to keep both Animate Dead and Grizzlebrand, and they only have 6 permanents anyway. An opponent probably can't use a discard spell on me, because if I didn't draw like a non-Grizzlebrand card, ooh, Stronghold's Gambit. Deal. I don't know why they're casting this. My opponent must have something absolutely insane. Like, they know I have this Grizzlebrand. Okay. If it's a tie, they get it. Oh, it's a 7. Okay. That's why. So I think that means I can't win now. Because I can't entomb a Grizzlebrand, both are in hand. I suppose, theoretically, I could two-turn step this with Cabal Therapy, target myself, put both Grizzlebrands in the yard. Goryo's Vengeance, Grizzlebrand. No, probably dead. Okay, if I draw in... Yeah, alright, I'm dead. Because I can't, like, draw Entomb and Emrakul next turn, reasonably. Alright, back in we go. We kind of lost the pseudo mirror there. The opponent's deck is better suited towards fighting that fight than mine is. I also mulliganed into Oblivion both games there. And that's the one downside of Tinfins, is sometimes you just have hands that don't have either piece, so they really need to go back, or you have to commit to playing a very, very slow game. My first hand would have been very, very good against my opponent, but I had no way of knowing that in the dark. Opponent played an unfair graveyard-based combo deck? How dare they? Would like to play first. I just have the turn 1 and the Git probe to see if it's safe. That seems okay. What does my opponent play? Oh, and my opponent plays Ant, so they don't get to interact with me either. So I just go Lotus Petal, Dark Rit, Cabal Therapy, me for Grizzlebrand, Shallow Grave, Grizzlebrand, go. Won't even have played a land yet. Tasty. My opponent also might mull like I'm playing D&T as well. Yeah. Alright. Brainstorm, Dark Rit, LED, Petal, Misty, Tendrils. Okay. Target me. Name Grizzlebrand. What do you know? I hit. Shalgrave. We draw 14. Oh, we found the... Wow, we have everything. Oh no, I don't have a way to put the Emrakul into play yet. I draw 14 more. Or I draw 7 more. Then I'll probably draw more. Let's go to 2 here. Dark Grit's actually pretty good, I guess. So now I sack the children, gain a bunch more life, and I'll just need to find... Oh no, I drew a Goryo's Vengeance there. Yeah, so now I just, like, Dark Grit, Entomb, Goryo's Vengeance, and we're done. Just missed that before. Yes, I own this deck on paper. And we did it. Hey, Minifer. We're currently 2-1 against Tinfins. We are now, or excuse me, 2-1 with Tinfins. We beat Miracles and Delver. We lost to Red-Black Reanimator after mulling into Oblivion. And now we're up a game against Ant. Alright, so, sideboard tech. You board in all 15. You shuffle them around real good, and then you decide what you're going to do. We probably just run back the same 75, honestly. Like, there's some desire to just board in the Mentors, because, like, you can just play them out and clock your opponent with them. But, like, Plan A is still pretty good, and they're probably not going to interact with us too much outside of discard. Like, if we board in the Mentors, I can use my discard more proactively towards them. So that might be a reason to board in the Mentors. But, like, the main deck configuration is a faster deck than Storm. So that's fine. Is there anything I don't want to play? Not really. All these cards are awesome. I guess, like, the Reanimates are so-so. I don't want to, like, lose that much life. So I could see getting rid of the Reanimates for 2 Mentors. Like, it's really risky to just, like, go all in on reanimating Grizzlebrand and then not getting there with it, because it does not take much storm count when you have, like, probably probed or thought seized and drawn 7 with Grizzlebrand and reanimated it. Like, you could just die to, like, ritual tendrils or something like that. So I'll just submit like this. Yeah, this is your appetizer, your what is it, amuse-bouche, before we go and start the main Legacy event here. So Entomb is the best card in the deck by a huge margin. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep this hand, even though if my opponent, like, Cabal therapies me for Entomb, my hand's pretty weak. Like, if I'm not interacted with and I draw a reanimation spell, I just go land, Dark Grit, Entomb, Goryo's Vengeance or Shallow Grave, draw infinite cards, win. Alright. Opponent has therapy, it's gonna be real good. But there might be some tension between whether or not they take my Thoughtseize or whether they take my Entomb. That's a real issue. Alright, if opponent fetches, they now just die to an Emrakul. Yeah, so if at any point I make an Emrakul connection, they are now dead. Ooh. Oh, do they have another? Nope. Memes. I don't know what you're talking about. Tinfins is great. Ooh, they have a Flusterstorm. Alright, so Brainstorm, Fluster, Petal, Tendrils. I think I just, like, slow roll this one and don't get cute and, like, try to, like, Dark Crit, then Collective Brutality, then Entomb to, like, 100% resolve the Entomb. Like, next turn I can just, like, hard cast Collective Brutality. And take their Flusterstorm if it's still around. They're pretty far off from going off. That's fine. We can counter this. I don't care. No. So now I'm gonna play this Petal, so that if my opponent tries to, like, duress me, I can Entomb in response. I don't really want to Entomb, though, because I'd rather save it for the Reanimation spell. Yeah, so, like, if I get Goryo's Vengeance or Shallow Grave... Ooh. Alright. Adnaz? They have Empty? Okay, they have Empty. Is there Cabal Therapy in Graveyard? Here's... Oh, they have Past in Flames. So Dark Writ, Cabal Writ, Dark Petition Tendrils. What's storm count? 7. 8. Yep. Okay. This is fine. We can lose this game. We'll try again next game. Do I want any more than 2 mentors when I'm on the play and I could just like potentially play it on turn 1? Maybe. Like I could just plan on not going infinite. And board out Children. And board out a Grizzlebrand. And just go on like the mentor aggro plan. With just one less fatty that I could like target myself with. That seems fine. Ooh. Yeah, that's true. I mean, they can still like empty the Warrens to beat it, but like they can't Tendrils kill me with it on the table. Yeah, that's a good point. So I haven't played Tinfins on paper in probably about 8 months. It's been a little while, so I'm definitely rusty. I'm also more one to play this at like casual weekly Magic events than at big tournaments. Bob is potentially better than Emrakul, but I want to leave at least one Grizzlebrand in the deck. And flipping Grizzlebrand to Bob is terrifying. Yes, I would like to play first. This just produces a turn 2 mentor, but doesn't interact with the opponent. So this just goes turn 1, fetch, scrubland, play Children out, turn 2 mentor, and I probably play out the Lotus Petal on 1. This is probably fine. It's not like the kill you right away hand, but it's a hand that has like a pseudo hate card, a win condition, and a cantrip. You're not playing Tinfins if you're scared. This is true. Since I have 2 black lands in hand already, I should probably just get Tundra. so that I can multiple cantrip in a turn. Let's hope they didn't bring their massacres in. That is correct, yes. Alright. This might be better than the GP. Right? This is a really important legacy matchup to learn, the Tinfins versus Ant matchup. We've got the Children of Corliss tech, so we can't be killed by tendrils, but they have the Tormod's Crypt, so I can't reanimate anything. This is hilarious. So we're currently 2-1, EW Landon. We beat Miracles and Delver. We lost to Red-Black Reanimator after just, like, mulling into oblivion. Alright, don't want to see more lands at this point. I just want to see, like, cantrips and discard spells. Yeah, so this is fine. Like, I can just take the Thoughtseize from this, and then shuffle. Alright, so they have Dark Petition, Past in Flames, Petal, Valk. So next turn they can go Petal, Valk, Past in Flames, Crack, 6 mana, Dark Petition, 1 mana floating, up to 4 mana tendrils. So I guess I just take the Lotus Petal. So they can't just Past in Flames. Or alternatively, they just go land, double crack LED, Past in Flames is in graveyard. It costs 5 to flash back. So that's 6, 7, 8, 9 mana. Down to 4, yeah. So their hand is not that strong currently. So I'll just take their Petal. Oh, sorry, you can't see the Ponder. Sorry about that. I'll walk through the Ponder next time. Alright, so we take their Petal, we leave them with Valk, Past in Flames, Dark Petition. 2x Silent Gravestone. Okay, I could see that. So I think I'm going to shuffle away the Entomb. I know that I can Entomb for a Therapy, but the Therapy isn't actually that good. It only, like, kind of denies 1 mana. And if I just get a cantrip, I can potentially, like, cantrip into cantrip and kill. So I think I would rather do that than, like, Therapy Dark Petition, which isn't doing anything right now and just is going to end up in the graveyard anyway, or Therapy Past in Flames just for, like, a 1 mana denial element. I don't think that's good enough. Alright, so literal any spell is lethal next turn. So my opponent has to go off here. EWLN, I think I like Silent Gravestone. That seems like good tech. From the old list that I was playing, I replaced the tops with 2 Collective Brutalities. Yeah, Goryo's targets, so that does not work with Silent Gravestone. That is correct. It's also not an instant, I suppose, so that doesn't work with Emrakul. I wish I drew Shallowgrave instead of Goryo's Vengeance. Alright, Infernal Tutor. Are we going to see Crack Crack? Yeah, we are. Can they just get Cabal Ritual here and kill me? Or, like, try? Their Dark Petition is going to be really awkward because they might not actually get the... What is it called with the 2 instants and sorceries? Spell Mastery. They might not have Spell Mastery if they start doing a Past in Flames thing. Yeah, Minifer, they can't kill me, but they could, like, empty and gum up the board. So what happens if they get Cabal Writ? They Cabal Writ, They go down to 4 mana, up to 9 mana, down to 4 mana when they passed in Flames, up to 9 mana with Cabal Ritual, Infernal Tutor, but they can't produce a second red to empty. So, opponent could have emptied for a relatively large number if they cracked the second LED for red. If they go for Adnaz, they Adnaz with a decent amount of mana, but like no life to work with. They also double cracked the LEDs already. Yeah, all right. So they're going for the super lucky Adnaz. I mean, you don't stop here. You're dead on board. You got to keep going at this point. Or maybe they don't. All right, so they can use their floating in their no. Ooh, all right. So they can use their floating in their underground sea to Cabal Ritual. They got Cabal Therapy to me for something random. Yeah. Alright, we got there. Alright, so we have officially cashed the league. We're currently 3-1. I'm going to run to the restroom, and then we'll play the final round of this league. Alright, here we go. Hello, my name is Phil Gallagher. I run ThrabenU University. Today we're having some fun and playing Tinfins before the GP stream goes and gets started up here. We have currently won against Miracles, Delver, and Ant, and lost to Red-Black Reanimator. Our opponent, as chat says, committed honorable seppuku in the last round by killing themselves with Ad Nauseam. They couldn't win through Children of Corliss. Overpowered 1-mana creature just shuts down Storm. Adorable. This will be the last round that I'm streaming for right now. I've got something going on at noon in about an hour here. I'm going to stream with Red-Black Reanimator probably tomorrow morning in this same time slot. My opponent let me borrow Tinfins. In between my opponent's, or excuse me, my roommate's Tinfins deck and my card hoarder loan account, I put together a Red-Black Reanimator list. Should be fun. It's got some spice in it because I really like Blood Moon. So many deck lists now. All right, too many creatures. Got to move some of those over. So my red-black Reanimator lists usually feature Blood Moon, just because I think it's an alternative, like, 3-mana win condition that's actually pretty good. But more on that later. Alright. Hum 86. They played Miracles in 2015. That's all that I know. This hand is a keep. This hand is very, very, very close to just going off on turn 1. If I find a reanimation spell off my Brainstorm, I just win. There's some desire to just, like, Lotus Petal Brainstorm so that I can fetch away whatever I Brainstorm with, but I'm not going to do that because I can just Entomb in my upkeep next turn if I miss. So I'm going to preemptively set a stop on my upkeep. Alright, and we did it. We have the turn 1. So I'll put back my 2 lands. Alright, opponent forces pitching Baleful Strix. We'll try again next turn. Ugh. I think I put it back so my land's on top. In which case I'm just okay drawing that. Yeah. So I'll Brainstorm here, see if we can go off. Because I can with a Dark Writ again. No. Alright, so I'll put back land, and Gataxian Probe them. No, sorry, I'll put back land, Shallow Grave, then Gataxian Probe them, in case my probe gets forced for some random reason. Oh man, opponent has nothing. Alright. So they have Strix, Bolt, C, Volk. And while I know there's no force around, I'm just going to get a Grizzlebrand in the yard, I think. Yeah, it looks like we're playing against Pile, right? That's pretty clear. Ah, bolt me to the dome. I don't think my opponent's going to have days. Just in case, I'll play that out. We don't get infinite life this turn. Ooh, okay, okay. So, I need one more mana in order to just go ham. Because I have Lotus Petal now. So with one more mana, I can go Entomb and Cabal Therapy. So I think I'm just going to, like, play the children here and try to draw a few more cards. See if that gets me there. What's the difference between Tinfins and Blue-Black Reanimator? Tinfins reanimates everything with haste. That's essentially the difference. Ooh, no Dark Writ. But I can reanimate children? Again? Alright, so opponent has Sea Volk, Ponder, Delta. If I play this Petal, I need to hit another Petal in order to continue going. But I get 14 to hit. I can also hit Chrome Mox. So I have three hits in 14 cards. Okay. Alright, there's a Petal. And there's a Grizzlebrand too. Alright, my opponent gives up. They've seen enough. So my opponent is going to have discard Deathrite Shaman and Counter Magic, so this is probably a Mentor matchup. I might Bob as well. See how spicy I'm feeling. So Mentors are going to come in. That means we'll probably like cut a Chrome Mox, cut a Grizzlebrand, cut a Goryo's Vengeance, maybe a second Goryo's Vengeance. Yeah, they'll also have Surgicals. So like what I meant by that is like my opponent's deck is going to attack me on the discard counterspell and graveyard hate fronts. So I'm under a lot of duress. Bob might come in this matchup too. Like the card advantage aspect is pretty good. But if I do that, then I board out my Emrakul and my other Goryo's Vengeance, and then I don't have the possibility of wiping their board. Okay, so maybe on the draw, I think on the draw I board out Emrakul and the second Goryo's for Bob, and then on the play I put the Emrakul and the Goryo's back in. That sounds reasonable to me. And I'll still leave the children in here for, like, if I get the combo going. And I'll still have the Collected Brutality loop kill. We're not playing Emrakul and Bob at the same time. We're not doing that. Yeah, I'll keep this hand. Like, it has turn 1 Entomb into turn 2 Reanimate with Mentor as backup. And I can even Cabal Therapy something in here. Oh, that is really unfortunate. Never mind. Since we drew our 1 of Grizzlebrand, our next turn is now Cabal Therapy, target me, name Grizzlebrand, reanimate Grizzlebrand. So that means this turn is Ponder. Super unfortunate and statistically unlikely. What does Dark Writ do? I'm in for all of these cards. Like, the probe is awesome. No. I don't even want to probe this turn. I just want to save that for next turn, and then we can execute the best game plan possible based on whatever they have. Like, this will let us know whether it's better to, like, go for the Reanimate plan or go for, like, just, like, Dark Writ, Mentor, Probe, Therapy, Entomb sort of shenanigans. We're 100% starting off with the Probe, though. And I'll even play my land out before I do that. Yeah, next card down is a fetch land. The fetch land is kind of irrelevant. Yeah. So that way this can't be, like, randomly spell-pierced or something. Okay. Alright, so they have Strix, Brainstorm, Force, him, Jace, Trop. Alright, so we're going ham. So how do I want to do this? I Cabal Therapy them for their... I can just Dark Writ, which they probably won't force. Then Cabal Therapy. Then Mentor. Then Flashback Cabal Therapy. Alright. Alright, so now I Cabal Therapy them. Now, we don't need to wait a turn. We can start going now. So we name Force. So that takes that. And now I play the Mentor. If they draw something that answers the Mentor, I just reanimate it. Because, like, they have no way to exile this. Alright, I guess I can try to, like, brainstorm into another one. That's fine. It's unclear whether or not they know about the man plan. If they know about the man plan, they leave in some number of removal. But if they don't know about that, then this Mentor probably just goes all the way. Opponent unable to hit me with the mana they have. That means they probably have to tap out for Strix. Which feels real bad. No. Ooh, they have a Deathrite Shaman. Alright. I'll brainstorm. Flusterstorm. Okay. I guess I could have played around that by playing my other land. But this is fine. Like, I'm really doing this to create the monk token anyway. We know part of their hand, but they brainstormed twice. Yeah, we only have one Grizzlebrand in the deck right now. I think their last card is probably the Jace, if I were to guess. So I'm going to try to take it. If we're wrong, we end up back at, like, Monk parity. I guess I should have done this previously to push one more damage. Fuck. Yeah. Oh, shit. Yeah, Nikos, I messed up. Yeah, that was absolutely the line. Alright, they kept an island. So Jace is their top card. Alright, yeah, Nikos, I punted this game here. Yeah, Moxall, if it looks like I'm doing something wrong, I probably am. I haven't played this deck in like 8 months. Alright, so we get to Ponder. That'll be enough to kill the Jace. Okay, then I can draw Thoughtseize myself for Grizzlebrand, reanimate Grizzlebrand after killing the Jace. That's fine. Leave Bob on top, draw Bob next turn. It's a lot of life, but like so be it. My opponent's out of cards and I'm killing their Jace. No, they don't have green mana up right now. Alright, and opponent concedes. And we get the 4-1, only losing to Black-Red Reanimator, where I think we mulled to like 5 in game 1 and 4 in game 2. So, deck's obviously busted. We won every match where we played reasonable Magic. And by we, I mostly mean me, right? Like, I played reasonable Magic and my opponent usually didn't. Like, we crushed the Miracles player with very little feedback from them. We destroyed the Delver player despite them having, like, Deathrite and Surgical. It just didn't matter. We went off through those. The Ant match was really intricate, but we were faster, and so we were kind of at an advantage from the get-go there. Children also interacts with Tendrils in a very positive way for us. And the check pile matchup there, like, even after my opponent brainstormed to fix their hand, we just had, like, too much for them to power through. So I'm going to go ahead and eat some lunch. I don't know exactly when the GP Legacy stream starts up, but I imagine that it's going to be somewhat soonish, and I hope you all will enjoy that. Sometimes being a competent Legacy player is enough of an advantage. Yeah, that's very true. So like when you see some of like the Moto grinders just like putting up results with all sorts of different decks, it's just because when you know all of the different interactions and like you know kind of what's going on, you can pull pretty far ahead based on your knowledge. So I'm going to go ahead and call it here. Probably tomorrow morning I'll stream some Red-Black Reanimator, but I think I'm going out and cubing tonight, so I don't think I'll be doing any more streaming today. Plus, I encourage you all to watch the Legacy GP coverage. The first couple of rounds might not be the most amazing while everyone still has buys, but I assume later on in the event we're going to see some really stellar Magic, and I'm quite looking forward to it. So for anyone who doesn't know me, again, my name's Phil Gallagher. I run Thraben University, and if you enjoyed my coverage and, you know, the way I'm presenting here, Phil, read Duke on commentary. Stop everything I'm talking about. That's awesome. To finish my thought here, if you enjoy my content, feel free to follow, and if you really enjoy it, sub. You get a free awesome Thalia emote, and you support me doing the things that I love. This is my silly spring break stream number like 8, where I'm just playing non-D&T decks, but normally I'll be playing D&T. I don't think I'm going to host anyone since the GP coverage starts up in about 40 minutes here. So I'm just going to go ahead and let it go here. Cheers, everyone. Good luck to those of you playing in the GP.